Welcome back. You're watching this special edition of Invest Africa. Over the past 6 months, mine violence has become synonymous with South Africa, given the labor unrest that has gripped the country's mining sector. The events at Marikana and the numerous wildcat strikes around the country have shaken both local and international investors. With mining accounting for over half of South Africa's foreign exchange earnings, how do you allay investor concerns in regards to the future of the mining industry? We traveled to the 19th annual Invest in Africa Mining Indaba to find out.
What is key for us as South Africa is to make sure that policies which we come up with as a country are able to recognize that as a country, investors play a critical role in ensuring that we achieve our own objective as government. So we cannot say our policies are such that they cannot recognize that for us to be able to be functional, for us to be able to meet our objectives, we do need investment in South Africa. Hence, we are mindful on the policies which we pass and ensuring that they continue to attract investment, but at the same time, balance that with our social needs or our needs as a country.
We have a good mineral endowment, but in order to get people to invest, it must be a stable investment platform, Godfrey. Mining is easy. Mining investors want a couple of things. They invest big time, and it's a long-term investment. They want stability over the long term. They want to know what to expect. You know, if you come in and invest in a big project that will run for 30 years, you cannot get the taxes change in year 10 all of a sudden. You need to know what to expect over the lifetime of your project. And obviously it's the question of labor. We in a country where we need to create more jobs, and I do think the unions and business can do a lot in creating a more harmonious way in taking it forward.
How scared are they internationally? Give me a sense of the kind of conversations that you have.
It's very difficult. It ranges. And I think, I always try and tell people, at least in South Africa, I feel our risks are quantifiable. We have a stable legal system in South Africa. We have very formal structures in South Africa. So I try and portray and give them the positives of our structure. But as I say, the elements that we need to manage is the socio-economic elements. The gap between the rich and the poor. They are scared of that. They are scared of that.
Although South Africa remains the biggest mining economy on the continent, equating for 15% of all known gold reserves and 87% of the world's platinum group metals, other African economies are also showing promise. Certainly, I don't think there are many people who know that Guinea has the largest bauxite reserves in the world, nor are there many people who know that Guinea actually rivals Brazil and potentially South Africa as home to some of the largest deposits of iron ore in the world. So let's talk about the potential of mining in Guinea. How big is it?
Really, the potential of the mining sector in Guinea is huge. Iron ore, we have already a potential of 40 billion tons of iron ore. Bauxite, the potential is the same proportion, 40 billions. And the proven reserve for bauxite is about 20 billion metric tons of bauxite. Then you have gold, you have diamond, you have uranium. So it's really a blessing of God.
Yeah. So what are you doing then to get investment into the sectors? We know that you have been looking at revising your mining code in order to be able to attract more investment. Talk to us about some of the changes that you are either introducing or amending or reforming within that mining code.
Thank you. But first of all, I can tell you that to attract the investment in my country, as you may know, Guinea had his first democratic election in 2010. Then we started, to put in place the reform. The first reform was, the elaboration of a new mining code. The second was, the mining review. The third was, the cleanup of our mining cadastre.
Right.
Coming back to the mining code, we elaborated the mining code and promulgated in September 2011. And when we promulgated, we did face to some observation for the mining industry.
Yes.
It's very simple to understand that at this moment, the mining industry was completely down. The financial crisis impacted the sector.
Yes.
And we were obliged to face, the two factors, plus the fact that Guinea, having, those huge reserve potential of bauxite, is located in Atlantic Basin. The Atlantic Basin is the Atlantic market. We are competing with the Pacific region, including China, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, even Philippines.
Philippines as well.
The characteristics of this region, they're producer and they're consumer.
Right.
And Guinea is only producer.
And you're on the other side of the world.
The other side of the world. I'm taking, the Guinean bauxite to the Pacific region, it's roughly $25 US. And knowing that the metric ton price of the bauxite is $28, you see, our
so the margin is very small.
Exactly, our bauxite is not any more competitive.
Okay.
That's why, we listen to the business leader or their observation. So it's true, and addressing the two previous factors, we were, inclined to revise the new mining code.
Okay.
Bringing some on the table some aspect as the fiscal regime.
Well, the most important message to them is that Tanzania is the country that offers all opportunities that you want in the mineral sector. We are a country that is endowed with all types of minerals that you find on this planet. We have gold, we have base metals, lead, zinc, copper, we have platinum, we have the technology metals that are on demand today, such as titanium, tantalum. They are all found in Tanzania. We have also the energy minerals, such as uranium. We have also the energy sources, such as coal, with an enormous amount of deposits that we have. For instance, our conservative estimate of the coal deposits is above 1.5 billion tons of coal. So I would say Tanzania is the best place to make investment, and the environment is conducive. We have the political stability. We are a very reliable, law-binding country. There is no corruption. So that is the message I'm giving to the people.
One of the issues that investors, when they talk about Africa these days, is of course the whole issue of resource nationalism, which has come in different guises, from government seeking higher taxes to involvement of the community, and also of course the whole issue around mining royalties and all those other things. From Tanzania's perspective, what are you doing and what are you saying about dealing with those highly contentious issues?
Well, insofar as fiscal regimes is concerned, I would say Tanzania is very predictable and doing very well. We have our mineral policy of 2009, which actually shows the roadmap towards the investment in the mining sector. We have the Mining Act of 2010, and in the case of oil and gas, we have the Petroleum Act, which is under review of 1980. And we are soon going to complete the gas policy, which actually has been interrogated by all the citizens of the country.
What are you reviewing there?
Let me first go back to the minerals that you ask, and then you can ask me about the oil and gas. We have our taxation slots are very well known. We have 4% royalty. We have 30% as a corporate tax, And then we have either 5 or 15% as withholding tax, depending on whether the company is incorporated in the country or outside the country. And then we have 0.3% of the turnover for the local governments. So ours are very transparent and very well known, and we respect the contracts that we enter into with the companies. So that is why we say Tanzania is the destination for investment, because our investment climate is sound, predictable, and reliable. And we do not go into the discussion of nationalization because we think they won't work. And maybe this is something I have to tell my colleagues on the African continent. Professionally, I'm a geologist, and I have been working on geology for many, many years since I graduated in 1979. You need the private sector if you have to do serious mining. If you are in oil and gas, you need the private sector. The government has just to create, to promote and facilitate the investment. But there is no way that you can use your national budgets in developing mines, or there is no way that you are going to use your national budgets in oil and gas exploration. It doesn't work, and it has never worked anywhere in the world.
So, Minister, you're saying there are no planned tax changes. There will be no change, at least in the foreseeable future, in respect of that fiscal regime.
Well, you have to look at this. If the companies have invested in Tanzania, and the global economy makes these companies to actually have big losses, I'm sure the companies will approach the government to discuss because of the prevailing situation. The same will happen if it happens that there is a windfall gain, that let's say today the price of gold moves to about $3,000 per ounce, then naturally we will also sit down with them to discuss and share the profit. Just the same way they will approach us to try and share the losses they are undertaking.
That brings us to the end of this week's special edition of Invest Africa. Join us again at the same time next week. Until then, I'm Godfrey Mutizwa, and goodbye. Thanks for watching.